Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday carry people. It's the Big Canucka here, and today I want to have a look at I think, a very deeply polarizing knife. It's been discontinued, but you know what? If you can go out there and find one, I think this is definitely one to get. It is the Vallotton Sub-Hilt with the polished G10 handle, and this is a nice, big, solid knife. And despite now when you have a look at this online or you have a look at this in this video, you're not going to think that this is a workhorse. But I got to tell you, this thing is an incredibly thick, solid, well put together knife that is going to do lots and lots of work as well as looking fantastic. All right, let's have a look at the size, a little bit of comparison here. Of course, we've got the Lucky Toonie, but we'll put together this paramilitary 2, so you can see that she's got quite a bit of size on the PM2. And of course here we've got the Mannix 2XL. You can see that it is just a smidge smaller than the Mannix 2XL, and you'll have a look at the blade size here. You can see that they're very, very similar, with perhaps the Butch Vallotton taking just maybe a millimeter or two more cutting length. But as you can see, it's quite a large knife. You know what? But it's not a beast of a knife. It's extremely thick in the handle here too as well. I got to be saying this is probably close to 3/4 of an inch thick, so it really fills the hand quite well. And the craftsmanship on this knife is absolutely tremendous. It is a Tai Chung Spyderco, so you can have a look here that this polished G10 is like glass, and the transition to the stainless steel back into the G10, back into stainless steel is virtually seamless. I mean, you can feel it with your fingertip, but you know, fingertips are quite well at feeling differences of levels, and this one here, you can feel a tiny bit of a transition, but not very much. I'm incredibly impressed with how they put this knife together. Of course, it is a liner lock, and it locks up really well. As you can see here, you're probably locking up at about 35%, so there's lots of room left for this knife to travel. And then you've got, rather than having a stop pin, you've got the dual stop pins here on the blade, and they of course act almost like a thumb stud in concert with the Spidey hole. And then you can see that there's two little nests here, and it just creates such a strong lockup. You're not going to have that side-to-side play because you've got it. Not only do you have your pivot here, you've also got your two lock bars here, or lock pins, that nest right into the liner. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this is an incredibly thick knife all the way to the end. As you can see, then you've got kind of a sharp tip. So you've got the piercing capabilities, but you've also got the fact that this is an extremely tough blade. Now, the blade here, of course, is made of S30V, which is one of the best stainless steels out there for knife land. It takes a really good edge, has really good edge holding capabilities, as well as decent toughness. Now, when this knife was built, it looks like they've gone with a kind of a high hollow grind, but you've also got the tip here, which is another grind, as well as the bevel here too as well. As you can see here, I've got this quite a nice thick bevel here at the tip, and it kind of tapers down here. That's just because of how thick this blade is. When you're going to sharpen this, if you don't set this up completely right, and you say you're sharpening by hand or you're sharpening with your machine, you will get that little bit of a thicker bevel on the tip, just based upon the angle and how thick this blade is. I'm extremely impressed with this knife here. Now let's just go over some of the specs on this. Now, your closed length here is 5 inches, so it's kind of, like I said, it's a really kind of a big knife. Your blade thickness is 4 millimeters, but it seems like it's a different 4 millimeters than, say, I've got this ferrum forge here, And you can see here that it just seems like it's a thicker 4 millimeters. I don't know why, but it just seems to be. But that's going to give you extremely tough blade. Now, of course, you've got the Spyderco spoon clip, which is a tip up or tip down, and a left and a right. So for you lefties out there, this you can pop this off and set it up. And as you can see here, this seems to be holding up extremely well. Lots of times the knock with these painted Spyderco clips is they don't hold up very well. They seem to scratch and lose their color, but I'm not sure what they did to this one, but you can see that there is some wear on it, but it doesn't seem to be chipping and scratching like some of the other ones. So it may be a little bit different of a finish. The blade length is 3.75 inches, so you're not quite 4 inches. So you've got lots of working edge to go there too as well. It's at 3.5 inch. Like I said, it's a polished G10 with a liner lock and S30 V. Now comes the big rub on this. Is the fact that your knife is an extremely thick knife. It fills the hand really well. It's comfortable, although this clip can dig into your hand here a little bit. I think I would probably look at perhaps getting a deep carry clip with this one, and the fact that it's 6.2 ounces. So it is kind of a bigger knife, and you know that this one is in your pocket. Now, when I've carried this, I know that it's there. And if they could do something on it, so if I'm going to, you know what, it's hard to say with this knife. If I'm going to do some heavy duty work with it, then it's built for that. But it's so damn pretty that it sucks to have this stuff scratched up. You know, my bolster here is a little bit scratched on a little bit of sandpaper. And I was honestly not very happy with it because it is such a gorgeous knife. But it is a little bit too big to carry as kind of a Sunday in your slacks or your dress pants type of knife. I mean, it'll still carry, and sometimes I do carry it when I'm heading out, but for the most part, it just seems like it's built like a tank to work, but it's too damn pretty to work it hard. So you'll have to, I think, make that determination in your head. Now, the other thing too that's really, really cool with this knife is you can actually send these away to Butch Vallotton, the designer of this knife, and you can have this turned into an automatic. And it's really a nice little sneaky automatic too as well, where they take this liner here and they turn this into the firing button. So you just take it and you just slide it down, this slides, and the knife fires out. Or you slide it this way. I don't exactly remember, but it's a really, really slick system, and the knife fires very well and very quickly and very hard. So the reviews that I've seen on this, turning this into automatic, are that it does, they do an absolutely fantastic job with it. Now, there's also maybe perhaps the compromise in this, that you can actually get a little sub-hilt with this particular knife, and I know it's a little bit smaller blade and it's a little bit smaller size, and that may be something that's a little bit easier to carry. I suppose the other kind of knock on this knife is I'm the type of guy who likes to flick knives and have fun, and you know, I'm sitting at home watching a movie or I'm driving and I'll flick the knife, and you know, if I don't have a fidget spinner, this is kind of my fidget spinner. But the way this is designed, with this spidey hole here, and I seem to have, you know, I pop it down and I cut myself with this knife all the time, probably more so than any of my other knives, and it's just the way it's designed. But you know, don't take that too much against it. I still think this is something that's worth adding to your collection, just on the basic fact that it's such a damn good looking knife, and the tactile sensation of this knife is absolutely wonderful. Now, just to give it, I think, a big Canucker score, I'm going to probably give this knife a 6 out of 10, just based on the fact of the 6.2 ounces, loses it a lot for me, and also the fact that it is just something that is so polarizing. Like I said, it is built like a tank, extremely tough. You can work the hell out of this knife, but it is an absolutely gorgeous knife with a finish, and I would hate to scratch it up and beat it up like a work knife would. So this is, I'm not going to say this is a safe queen, but it is one of the few knives that I do just kind of, I look at and I enjoy and I carry around the house once in a while, and I don't do a lot of work with it because I just don't want to beat it up. So, all right, now it does just a couple other real small things. Like I said, you've got the liner lock. It also has some phosphor bronze washers. There's no cage ball bearings or ball bearings in this at all, but it's still extremely smooth opening. You know, you can give it the spider flick effortlessly. You can give it the other flick. It is, you open up the lock and it will drop shut by itself, but it will not drop all the way shut without quite a bit shaking. And it does come absolutely perfectly centered from the Tai Chung. The fit and finish on this is absolutely wonderful, but it is just too damn pretty to work with. All right, well, thank you very much for stopping by. And if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. I want to thank also for the folks who have subscribed in the past. Thank you very much. And just remember to keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up, and the pointy end away from your bits.